You, everybody. Thank you for connecting with us this evening. I'm really excited to be here to talk to you about the Bachelor's of Health Sciences program. My name is Dr. Fabiola Aparicio Ting. I am both the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Health and Science Education, and I have the privilege of being the Director for the Bachelor's of Health Science program as well. So really excited to be here. I think if you can hold your questions towards the end, feel free to type them in the chat. We also have our program advisor who is here to answer some of your questions as well. And I believe we'll also be manning the chat as we go along. All right, so let's start with a territorial acknowledgement. So it's really important that we recognize that we have an incredible privilege of being able to live, learn, work, and play on this beautiful land that is the territory of the peoples of the Treaty 7 in southern Alberta. So that includes the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprising Siksika, Piikani, and Kainai First Nations, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation and the Stoney Nakoda, which includes the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations. And City of Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Districts 5 and 6. And here you see a photo of actually taken on Siksika land last spring on a field trip with the Health and Society student senior class. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. All right, so what exactly is the Bachelor's of Health Science program all about? Well, we're an honors-only program that's really focused on creating the health researchers of the future. So we are inquiry-based, focused on interdisciplinary collaboration, and our research intensive. The whole program is actually designed to build these foundational skills for health research, but these skills also end up being incredibly transferable to a number of other settings beyond the research setting, and certainly even beyond the health sciences as a future career. So you'll probably all already know, but there are three majors in the Bachelor's of Health Science program: the bioinformatics major, the health and society major, and the biomedical sciences major. So when you are applying into the program, you will declare one of these majors right at the start from the time of your application. So let's get into a little bit of detail. I'm going to give you just a broad overview of the individual majors, but I'm really going to focus on what the program can offer future students as a whole. So the biomedical sciences is our largest major. It provides the foundational knowledge and skills for biomedical and laboratory research. So that means something that's incredibly broad when we say health science research in a lab-based environment. So everything from molecular biology to neurosciences, immunology, looking at different cancer processes, understanding infectious diseases, which we know is a pretty important, has at least become incredibly important with emerging infectious diseases of late. And so looking at these through the molecular, genetic, and cellular, at the cellular level as well. So the focus here is really trying to push this health research in the biomedical sciences forward by integrating the latest developments and technologies in how we teach, and also in the content that's being offered to students. And here you'll see a picture of our students in one of our teaching labs, which is located on the Foothills campus. Okay, the next major is health and society. So the focus on health and society is really building competencies around public health, which means a focus on preventing disease, promoting good health, and improving the quality of the general healthcare system and the sociological context of health, both locally and globally. So within the health and society major, students can focus on a wide range of different health issues, but they really do focus on health equity and public health as the underpinnings of that research and those foundational research skills. Uniquely across the majors, health and society students declare a social science concentration. So in addition to the medical science content that they get in their coursework, they will also be doing some social science content. So They get to choose from one of these 7 concentrations that are listed. But students don't have to declare that until their second year. So they have some time to figure that out. But this allows the health and society majors to get a very kind of holistic view of the context that supports, creates, and poses barriers to health for different segments of the population. And our third major is the bioinformatics major. So this is really the intersection of biology and computer science coming together so that we can create a really full understanding using our contemporary ability to generate all kinds of different kinds of data. So in this major, more so than all the other majors, although they are all very practical, hands-on, this one is very application-based. And students learn right from the beginning how to interact with computer science techniques and skills, and start to engage with large volumes of data, different kinds of data, for example, genomic tools. They also learn how to engineer new software. So really one of the main focuses of bioinformaticians is creating new tools so that we can deal with the large amounts of health data that is available for the population. And of course, artificial intelligence and its intersection with health is a new focus that's been integrated into our curriculum as well. And of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg for the bioinformatics major. Regardless of the major, we have some core program learning outcomes that we build our curriculum around for all the 3 majors. So this includes critical thinking. So students are challenged with academic writing and forming arguments and writing both research and argumentative papers right from the first term in the first year. Collaboration, so the ability to work interdisciplinarily with students across all 3 majors together as a team, because health and complex health issues that we're dealing right now in our population require interdisciplinary teams to bring all kinds of different kinds of skills and perspectives to be able to come up with creative solutions. So that's what we're preparing students for. This also means students develop strong communication skills, both presentation and oral communication skills, as well as writing skills. So this includes both academic writing in different formats. So sometimes it might be a policy brief, or sometimes it's an academic research paper. Sometimes it's a debate kind of paper. So we do focus on different kinds of writing skills, but it's a pretty important component of our program. I've already talked about the importance of research skills that we build, and this runs the gamut from laboratory-based skills to qualitative and quantitative health research skills, and then those skills that incorporate all kinds of different tools and technologies. Students also build a scholarly and disciplinary literacy, both within their majors. So biomedical science students engage with biomedical research papers, as do health and society students and bioinformatics students. But they also learn how to read each other's papers, so each other's research, so that they can understand how to work well in an interdisciplinary team. And then within the majors, we do focus on some foundational knowledge that anchors each of the majors and the application of that knowledge. So it isn't enough to learn and memorize a bunch of facts. It's really about how you apply that knowledge and how we can use what we know today to create really creative solutions for health and health issues in our population for tomorrow. I mentioned that we're collaborative and inquiry-based, and I think this is an incredible strength of our program. So in each year of the program, we have courses that we call the core inquiry courses, which is where all of the majors come together and they work on interdisciplinary projects through group work. So here, you see an interdisciplinary group on the top photo here that's presenting their health promotion poster that they themselves design. And in fact, this year, our second year inquiry course created a partnership with Alberta Health Services, and a few of our student posters are going to be used by Alberta Health Service sites for different health promotions. One is around cardiovascular disease. The other one is about working in a sedentary office and the strategies you can use to get up and move. So really exciting that our students do work that's both a product to demonstrate their learning, but also a product that can have an impact. So inquiry-based learning means that students get to ask questions that they're interested in, and the role of the instructors is really to harness that curiosity and give them some methods and strategies in order to come up with a good project and a good outcome. So there's lots of opportunity to explore whatever you might be interested in, especially within groups, you come up with some really interesting topics. And so our focus then is really about getting hands-on research experience. So in the first and second years, it's more of an research experience through engaging with the academic literature. But in the third and fourth years, it's really about very much hands-on, technique-based, methodologically based research experiences. And that all comes to an end in the fourth year with our honors thesis. So the Bachelor of Health Science program is an honors only program, which means the entire class or cohort that comes up that year participates in an independent research project with a faculty researcher or supervisor. And at the end, they get to defend and produce a thesis. And on the bottom photo here, you see 3 of our students celebrating the end of their thesis. And we always have a celebration at the end of this course because it's such a milestone for students. It's both a milestone in that it's, in their final year, they're ready to graduate. And it's also a milestone because they put together all of their learning into this one research experience. And many of them find it incredibly rewarding. It is challenging, but very rewarding and a really wonderful learning experience. So you can see from the happy faces there. So research in the BHSC is, as you can tell, really quite critical. It's embedded in the curriculum through our inquiry courses. We also have opportunities for students to engage in independent study courses. So these are courses where a student will pair with a faculty member usually from the Cumming School of Medicine, but really from across the University of Calgary, and come up with a research project that's either 1 or 2 terms. And then this becomes an official course for that student. So the student registers in the course, they take it, they get a grade, and they get credit towards their degree based on this course. So we've made sure that the research opportunities are embedded in the curriculum, but we also do offer for students who want it that extracurricular research experience. So we offer a number of summer studentships. The University of Calgary has a very robust undergraduate summer studentship program where students can apply to do research over the summer months that's paid with a faculty research supervisor. However, at the Bachelor of Health Science program, we have also some monies that are dedicated just for BHSC students as well, to do these same kind of summer research experiences. So between those 2 programs, we can get most of our students who are interested in doing research funded for the summer. And we also offer conference travel grants for BHSC students who maybe after their summer research experience or after an independent study course want to present their findings at a conference. And this helps us subsidize the students so that we can reduce the cost for and more students are able to take advantage of an opportunity to then engage with researchers from outside the University of Calgary, which is quite exciting. We also offer global health field courses that often have a research component to them. And often this is, or of late, this has been a community-based research component. So you'll see in that top photo there, that's actually our class that just went over to our partners in Mbarara in Ethiopia. So really wonderful experiences for our students to be able to engage with a global community and to kind of exercise their research skills that way. We also have other opportunities for students to be involved in global health that don't include travel. So lots of opportunities to take the research skills both locally, nationally, and internationally for our students. So why choose the BHSC? Well, I'm sure many of you have heard programs brag about these kinds of things, so we can boast that we have modern, well-equipped teaching labs. All of our classrooms are held in the Foothills campus, which is about a 15-minute walk from the main campus of the University of Calgary. So we are right in the Health Research Center. So we're in the hub of where health and healthcare and health research happens. So that's a real advantage for our students. We offer scholarship support and the summer research funding. We also, because we are a small program and we are purposefully a small program, we have small class sizes and we have the best student to advisor ratio on campus, which helps students support both their academics and sometimes some of their extracurricular interests as they go through the 4 years of their program. We also are really lucky to have a number of award-winning teaching faculty and program staff who really care about the students, are quite invested in our students doing well and really reaching their full potential. But the University of Calgary offers a number of programs which are excellent programs and which many students excel at. So why BHSC? Well, if you're curious, if you have that drive, you think you have that passion for health research and for asking questions that people don't know the answers to, if you are creative, willing to think in very different ways and incorporate new perspectives into what you do, if you're willing to work with others and are actually embrace the value of having that interdisciplinary collaboration to do health research. And if you're interested in all aspects of health, so not just the molecular and not just the medical, but all of the factors that make up health. And most importantly, if you embrace intellectual risk-taking, which means you're willing to try new things and you're not afraid that maybe what you're trying might fail, might not turn out how you expected, but you'll learn something from it. If this describes you, then this is definitely the program for you. So in order to support those qualities that we're looking for in a student, we offer a number of other enrichment opportunities as well. So I've mentioned the conference travel grants. We also have a mentorship program where students are paired with a faculty mentor, faculty from the Cumming School of Medicine who do a variety of different kinds of research. So we try not to limit students to just clinical research, but there's such a rich tapestry of research that happens at the Cumming School of Medicine that we will pair students so that they can see what's possible and they can network and get to know people across campus. We also offer a buddy program where our senior students pair with our incoming students and they get to know a little bit more about student life. What's it like to be a BHSC student? What are the tips and tricks for getting between one campus to another and navigating kind of the complexities of being on two campuses, which can be both challenging but also incredibly rewarding. We offer a number of community engagement opportunities. We have a very specific program engagement specialist in our office in Thara Watsake, who organizes a number of community activities. So building our group of students into a community that supports each other, that is not competitive, but that really works to make sure that everybody can succeed. That's what we're all about. And so that's why we focus on that community building and community engagement. And so under that umbrella, we have a student engagement committee, which works with Tharwat to create those good community building experiences. And we have a student faculty liaison committee, which in which representative students liaise with our myself, the BHSC program staff, and the directors in the BHSC program to make decisions about curriculum and how the program runs, and to really just give us feedback so that we as a program are constantly listening to the needs of the student, and can react to the changing tides as they are throughout the years. We also love supporting our Dinos athletes. So sometimes athletes think that an honors program might be out of their reach, and it really isn't in the BHSC program. So this is just but a sampling of some of the amazing student athletes that we have currently in our program. Not only are they academically high achieving and maintain their honor status, but they're also really high up in the ranks of in terms of competitiveness in their respective sports. So we're quite proud of that. So if you are a Dinos athlete competing this, contemplating applying to the BHSC program, we strongly encourage you to do so, and just wanting to let you know that there is a place for everyone in our program. Question that we often get asked is, what do you do after the BHSC program? What can I do with my degree once I leave after 4 years? Well, it's not a terminal program like, say, engineering or accounting. In fact, the doors are wide open when you leave the BHSC program. Many of our students do go on to do professional school, like medical school, law school, dentistry, physiotherapy for those. That's a highly competitive program for those who are lucky enough to get in, but BHSC students do it. And another, I think, healthy portion of them go on to do graduate studies in an area that they've become passionate about throughout their undergraduate experience. And a number of them go on to the workforce to work with not-for-profit or non-governmental organizations, both locally and internationally, and also to work outside of the health field altogether. And we have a number of students who go on to be entrepreneurs and open up businesses. So we're very proud of the skill set that students can build throughout our program. That's, while it's rooted in health research and but all the knowledge around health equity and understanding the power of interdisciplinary and working with others, those are all skills that you can take anywhere. And I will, I'll boast a little bit that we're really proud to have some of our alumni who have really go on to do some really amazing work academically as well. So we have 3 recent Rhodes Scholars that have come out of the BHSC program, which is a significant number if anyone knows about the prestige Rhodes Scholarship program, as well as a Knight Hennessy Scholars program, which is specifically from Stanford University in the US. We have 2 recent graduates who have gone into that program as well. So sky's the limit with the BHSC program. You're really only limited by what you want to do. So after all that, how do you apply? Well, having seen that we are really looking for students who are creative and are willing to take some risks, we have 2 very important components to our admissions. One is of course, high school grades, right? So you must have at least over an 85% average. You've got the courses listed here that we take into consideration for that admission average. In addition to grades, however, we also have a supplementary application. And so that application is reviewed by 3 independent reviewers and scored. And we use a combination of that score and your grades in order to come up with an admission decision. So the supplementary application is really important. It's 4 questions. And once you go through the University of Calgary application, you are then and choose our program as your first choice, then you will receive a link for the supplementary application, which is 4 questions. So 4 questions that have no right or wrong answer. So we are not looking for anything specific. We are looking for certain qualities. And we are looking for students who are authentic in their responses. So we ask that these questions are answered by you and you alone. So no one else should have input into your responses. And that also includes no generative AI in creating your responses. So those AI tools are not allowed. And it's a really great way for us to get to know a little bit about the applicants and make sure that you are a good fit to the program, but also that the program is a good fit for you. Because when that pairing goes well, that's when students thrive best. So we are aiming to have some of our first offers rolled out in January, and then our admissions continue until the seats are all filled. So I would encourage you to, if you are going to apply into the program, to complete your supplementary application sooner rather than later, because it does fewer seats become available later in the process. And we are certainly, our seats do fill up. We have very strong application pressure for our program. So with that, I would like to open it up for questions. You can also refer to our website at the cumming.ucalgary.ca/BHSC, where you'll see a really nice overview of what we offer prospective students, but also what some of our current students are doing and some other aspects of research in our program. And if you have any other program-specific questions, please send them to the bhsc@ucalgary.ca email. Email is by far the best way to get in touch with the program. We do not monitor our phones. Our voicemail systems fill up way too quickly for us to be able to respond. So email is really the way to go if you have questions. So with that, I am going to go to the Q&A. Okay, so, and I'm going to invite Jennifer Logan to chime in whenever she feels she can answer the question better than me, which is often. So one of the first questions is, how many student seats do the three majors have? Well, in total, we admit between 110 and 115 students per year. And there are 25 limited seats for health and society, roughly the same for bioinformatics, and the rest are biomedical sciences. And we determined the number of seats not based on the priority of the program, but actually based on our ability to match students to research experiences. So we have a number of foundational or basic science departments which can host biomedical science students in their honors thesis and in their third year research projects. But we have only one department that supports public health and health services research, which is our health and society students focus. So because of that, we have to limit that program. So it is, but regardless, it's still a really quite small program. We don't necessarily, when we look at your supplementary applications, we do not look at them by major. Those decisions get made at the very end. So the scores are irrespective of majors. There's a question about being excluded from STEM scholarships, and I'm not really sure what that alludes to. So not sure.
I can answer that one as well. So in terms of like scholarships, there will be some scholarships that are available specifically for programs like Bachelor of Health Sciences. And then there will be some scholarships that are exclusive to like the Faculty of Science. So when you apply, like the entrance awards that you would apply for when you apply at the undergrad level, you do one application and then we consider you for all sorts of scholarships depending on what's relevant to you. But there are some that are dedicated to this program and then some that are dedicated to other programs as well.
Thank you, Devin. We have a question here about biomedical science students, if they get to specialize in something. So there is no formal specialization for biomedical sciences majors. There is freedom in a number of senior options and senior courses that will fulfill your degree requirements. So you can take courses in the neurosciences and molecular biology, developmental biology, genetics as well. But the biomedical program or curriculum is designed to have a breadth rather than a very narrow focus. Okay. So no, we do not consider applications below an 85% admission average because we are an honors program. I see a question about what do we mean by an additional academic course? No, this is not an often course. There is a list of courses that are potential, that fifth course that you can see on the applications website. But by academic course, we mean usually a 5-credit, something that is around like a social studies, computer science, physics, or something that's related to what you would do in the Bachelor's of Health Science program in a curriculum. Okay.
Can I just add that fifth course is not a course that you choose. The fifth course is chosen automatically when your admission average is calculated, and it's chosen from a list, but chosen how it is most advantageous for you. And it's actually a really broad list of courses that constitute the acceptable fifth course.
Thank you, Jennifer. I think there's a question here for probably Jennifer or Devin, someone who's currently enrolled in Chem 20. They don't have a final grade until February. Will you be considered for admission in January?
No, you have to have a grade for each of the required courses. So yours would be evaluated and an admission average calculated once you have at least a 20 level for one of the required courses.
Yeah, and then we'll consider your grade 12 grades once they come in at the end to kind of cement the offer. There is a question here about, we used to have a scholarship that guarantees admission into MD, into the medical doctor program. We are not offering that scholarship this year. There is a question about how many courses a student can take in the first year, and I will invite Jennifer to jump in, but it really is up to you and what what suits you. Some students will take 4, some students will take 5. But Jennifer, do you have any advice there?
Yeah, the degree requirements constitute 120 units. If you want to complete the degree in 4 years, taking only fall term and winter term courses, then that would be 5 courses per term. Of course, if you have transfer credit from AP or IB courses, that could figure into the calculation. But generally speaking, students in the first year of our program complete 5 courses in the fall term and 5 courses in the winter term.
Okay, great. There is a question about, so just to clarify that the Bachelor's of Health Science program, regardless of the major that you select, is an honors only degree. Let me just keep scrolling. So Jennifer, I might defer to you on this question. Do you curve the mark for AP classes or consider AP classes the same as a -1 class?
That might be a question for Devin. So just to give you a little bit of insight as to the admissions process, your application to the university and the program is first vetted by the admissions office. That is where the calculation as to what constitutes your admission average is made. And that's where the course selection for, the 5th course, all those kinds of things. We receive your admission file after the admissions office has deemed you eligible for an admission decision. So we don't actually play any role in the calculation of the admission average. That information is sent to us at the program level. And then we are the ones responsible for having your supplementary application reviewed. So we can make our admission decision, as Dr. Ting explained, based on both your admission average and your supplementary application scores.
Devin, did you want to talk about how AP classes are handled? Okay. There's a question that, yes, we do offer some scholarships specifically for BHSC students.
So for AP courses, we can use them in part of the evaluation and school course. So you're not necessarily going to get an advantage in the admissions process.
Thanks, Devin. Yeah. So, and then as far as scholarships and grants go, Devin, I think has already kind of outlined how you apply for those, and then you kind of put in your application, and then you're allocated to what you're eligible for. So if you are applying to the BHSC program, and you indicate that we're your first choice and you get an offer, then you would be considered for those BHSC entrance scholarships. And for international students, I would strongly encourage you to get in touch with the admissions office, and they can give you very specific requirements and some guidance on how we interpret international credits for admission. Is the program more hands-on in the labs to find outcomes, or is it more of the study of the health sciences? I'm not really clear on that question, but I will say that the purpose of the program is to get it's designed to be very hands-on, so that students have the techniques and abilities to then design experiments that will answer the health questions that they're interested in. So it is both the study of the health sciences. So you do, there is some kind of academic work that you have to do in terms of writing exams and doing academic writing, but then you take that knowledge and you apply it in a research setting, and that will by necessity require you to have some hands-on experience in different techniques. So if you're in the biomedical sciences major, that will mean lab techniques that you get exposed to, particularly in your third and fourth years. If you're in the health and society major, that means different quantitative and qualitative methodologies. And for bioinformatics majors, that means those computational science skills to build tools and to create analyses that are relevant to answering research questions. So both, I think, a really healthy mix of what we think of traditionally as academic learning, but then also very hands-on, because what we're really interested in is not just students who can memorize the content and who can, kind of that back into a multiple choice exam, but who can actually take that knowledge, be creative with it, and then use it, right, for a purpose, which is to answer questions about health. And so that's where we're trying to get students to. So that basic foundational knowledge is important, but we are building students who go beyond that. So by your third and fourth years, you should be deep into your critical thinking skills and really being creative about how you're applying the knowledge. So that's the emphasis of our program. So there's a question about switching between majors. So if you started in one, could you switch to another? The example is if you start in biomedical sciences, could you switch to health and society? So I'm going to say maybe. Depending on the programs, the status of our program, how many of our seats are filled, what happens after the first year, that's when we may or may not have openings in the major you want to switch into. But you still have to kind of go through a process where you have to speak with the director of that major, really to make sure you're making an informed decision if there are spots available in that major. So again, yes and no in that respect. Okay, so this is a good question about once you're in the BHSC program at large, and this doesn't matter which major you're in, is there a grade percentage you have to maintain to stay in the course? So yes, there is. We're an honors program, which means you have to sustain an honors GPA of 3.3. So that is kind of your average that you have to maintain over the 4 years, and that sustains your honors program, and you complete the 4 years there. So we work with our students to make sure that that's possible. Okay, so some stats regarding acceptance rate, about how many applications, and I'm going to invite Jennifer to chime in here. Can you answer this question, Jennifer?
Last cycle, we probably had around 800 eligible files to fill 105 seats. There were many more that applied to the program, but were not deemed eligible for an admission decision. So I was working with probably about 800 active files through the admission cycle for those 105 seats. So it's fairly competitive.
Yeah, and please remember that we can't look at your file until you've completed the supplementary application. So you're not an active file for us to review until you have both components ready for us to review. So just something to keep in mind as you're thinking about timelines for application, if you choose to apply to our program.
Do you mind if I go back to a question? It's an interesting question. It's a very odd answer. Somebody asked, is physical education 30 one of the courses that could potentially be considered as a 5th course? Now, even though we say an academic course, phys ed is actually on the list. So I was reviewing files today where the admission average did pull in phys ed 30 for the admission average. So strange, but true.
Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks for going back to that one. I'd like to answer this question. Does the health sciences program give you an advantage over other degrees to get into medical school? No, it actually doesn't. So we are not a pre-med program in any way. We happen to be located in the Cumming School of Medicine. That's so that we have access to faculty researchers who focus on health. So that's the reason we're in the Cumming School of Medicine. We are not at all affiliated with the medical program. There is no advantage coming from our program or any other program. In fact, I would encourage you to go speak with the medical school admissions folks. They will tell you right now that there are students in their program who have a bachelor's degree with a major in dance. There are students in there with majors in all kinds of fine arts. So medical schools really are looking at a diverse group of students. There is no one program that's going to give you an advantage. It's really going to be about your suitability and what you make out of your undergraduate experience. Oh, a very good question about the handling of animals in experiments. So students have the choice of the kinds of research experiences they want to undertake. We give students quite a breadth of potential opportunities that will align with your interest in either working with or not working with animals. So and there's a whole range of different kinds of animals that are possible. So there are, this is health research. So there are snails and fish and all kinds of animal models that are incredibly useful for understanding human processes around illness. Do you select your major? Yeah, so you actually select your major at the time of application. So you come into the program already in a major. So hopefully that answers that question. So I think this is a curious question. Do you consider these programs a GPA killer compared to other science programs? I mean, thank you for your frank question. If your goal is to just get the A, you just want to get the grade and you want to move on, then this is probably not the right program for you. So I'll be really frank. The students who do well in our programs are who have the passion for that creativity, right? I showed you the statistics about a third of them go to the medical school. So it certainly isn't a drawback to be in this program to go into medical school. But it's really about finding that program that focuses on the things that you are interested in. So students who are interested in research, who really get on board with working in interdisciplinary groups, who embrace the challenges of academic writing and taking some kind of, risks of uncertainty, do really well in our program. That's what it's designed for. So that's how you want to choose your undergraduate program. You want to choose that program that speaks to the things that you're really interested in. Because if you head into a program because you think it's going to create an advantage or it's going to give you, the grade you want, but you're not interested at all, you're just going to go through the motions. Not only is it not a very pleasant academic experience, but we know it's actually usually those students are less successful in the end because it's so hard. Undergraduate studies, I'll be honest, has some challenges. You will face some times where there are pinch points and there are stress points. And if you are not interested in what you're doing and excited about your learning, it is incredibly hard to push through that stress and be successful. So that's how you should select your program, either this or any other program. What's going to speak to your passions and your strengths? Because that's how you're going to do really well. So I would say this would be a GPA killer for someone who is not interested in research, who just wants to memorize a bunch of facts. This is probably not the program for you, if that's what you're after. What is the difference between neuroscience honors and the biomedical science honors? Well, neuroscience focuses very specifically on neurosciences. So your courses are mostly taught out of psychology. They are also an honors program, so there's that similarity, but the biomedical science curriculum is designed to be broader than just one specialization, which would be neuroscience. We also have some differences within our curriculums in how, for example, how we run the honors thesis course and our focus on academic writing and group work. So there are some differences across our curriculums that way, but I'd say largely it's really about what you're going to focus on in terms of your skill building. So I would encourage you to connect with neuroscience and see what, how they're approaching their offerings and their curriculum as well. Jennifer, would you mind answering this question? If a student is able to switch from health sciences into BSc?
I'd be happy to. So you're not shackled to the program. You are allowed to change your mind. But what you're essentially doing, you're not just switching into other programs, you're actually applying for a change of program admission decision. So students do have the ability to apply to transfer into other programs, but they must meet the transfer GPA and course requirements for transfer admission decisions. If you find yourself in that position, program advisors for whatever program you are in can help you navigate the change of program application, help you understand. There are student advisors at the university that can help you understand the transfer admission requirements for all the programs at the University of Calgary. So yes, you can change your mind, but you do have to meet the requirements of the other program.
Thanks, Jennifer. I might actually throw this one back at you too, Jennifer. If your application isn't considered in January due to not having the prerequisites completed, when would the application then be considered? And are you less likely to be accepted?
So there are, as Dr. Ting mentioned, we will begin to start rolling out offers of admission and keep gradually rolling out offers of admission until the seats are filled. And that will likely happen sometime after the March 1st deadline. If you don't have the appropriate courses to be evaluated until, let's say, the end of your grade 12 year, June, we will be finished our admissions process by that time. So if it's just a matter of your fall courses having final grades, then you're likely will be processed and in part of our applicant pool when we're still making active offers.
And that usually happens in mid-late February for those courses that finish in January. Okay. Does BHSC have a provincial quotas, so percent reserved only for AB for Alberta residents? No, we do not.
We admit from all over Canada and all over the world.
We do. It just the kinds of students that come and thrive in our program are just the diversity of it is actually what makes our program so rich. You know, there's a place for everyone in our program, regardless of any kind of affiliation, where you come from, what your background is, what your orientations are. As long as you are here to learn and you are here to build a community and be supportive of other students, and really are looking to how to be your best self, this is a great program for that. So we welcome all. Okay. Is there more research than tests and exams in this program? You know, that's a tough question. Students don't take only BHSC courses. So we do have our core inquiry courses in which there are no exams. It's very hands-on. And sometimes, you know, that can be challenging. But students also take other courses across campus. So, you know, there'll be tests and exams there. And we do have some of our medical science and health and society courses that have tests and exams. I think what you might find is that particularly after the first year, so going into your second year and above, those tests and exams in BHSC courses, so the ones that we run, so those are the MDSC and HSOC courses, those exams tend to be really applied. So you have to memorize things because you have to know, you have to have the knowledge to then be able to apply it. But it's a slightly different style of learning. I'll give you an example. I used to teach the Health and Society 201 course, which is a foundational course, happens in the first year, first term. And we just like ram right into academic writing and critical thinking right away. And that's a first year course. So that can feel a little bit challenging because in other first year courses, students are with, you know, 300-400 other students. And so by necessity, the assessments have to be a little bit different. But in this course that's capped at 50, we can do different things and I can try to assess student learning in different ways so that we can just jump right into those deep critical thinking skills. So you get a little bit of everything. And you get to experience different ways of learning and find the strategies that work for you for all those different ways. And that's what makes a really flexible, creative learner that then when you graduate, you can adapt to a number of different kinds of situations. Okay, how are we doing for time here? We've got a few more minutes. This is a great question. Are there options to study abroad in the program? So, and I will ask Jennifer to jump into if you have anything to add, but I will say, I say yes, there are options to study abroad in our program. We do have the challenge in our program that we have these core inquiry courses that are 1 year long. And so that means that if a student wants to take, you know, a semester or a year abroad, it will add a year to your program. So if graduating in 4 years is important to you, then that might be a challenge. But many students who do that, and we do have students who do that, and who will take an extra year so that they can have a study abroad experience. I mean, the experience that it adds to your undergraduate growth is just tremendous, right? So if you have that opportunity to do that, that's a possibility. So there's also possibilities to study abroad over the spring and summer terms. So certainly there's a very strong public health focus in the education in Australia. We've had health and society students who will go do a term in New Zealand, Australia over the summer months. as their study abroad and then come back and start, in September again. So there are lots of possibilities. We have I would say, the extreme privilege of having a small program that we can work with students, and Jennifer Logan, who is our program advisor, is incredible at helping students find ways and strategies to do what they want to do and get that undergraduate experience that they want to get within the limitations, of our curriculum and of university policies. Did you want to add anything to that, Jennifer?
No, but well, one thing I will add is that for the last few years, every fall, we've been holding an information session so that students understand the breadth of opportunities available to them as a University of Calgary student, particularly those opportunities that work well with being in the BHSC program. So study abroad, group programs, global health research opportunities, those kinds of things. We tend to profile them, bring all the main players in the fall in an information evening. And we also have students that have taken part in these experiences share their experience. So you get that student perspective that's very important as you're planning for your future.
Great, thank you. So we just have a couple of minutes left, and I'll just, I'll just reiterate for the couple of questions that are left that we do have a high application pressure. As Jennifer already indicated, we have, over 800 applicants for about 110-ish seats per year. So, yeah, that's how that looks. But I would welcome you, as we close up here, to please visit our website, send us an email if you have any further questions, and really just think about, the fit of the program to your interests. The picture that we've had on the screen here for you is actually a picture of our fourth year class. So after they've had their oral exam or their defense of their thesis, and so, yeah, look at how happy they are. They all get a t-shirt that commemorates their experience. And it really is a milestone for our learnings. And we couldn't be any prouder of our students, but they get to their fourth year and go through their honors thesis and how they come out on the other end of that is, these mature learners who are, have such potential and promise, not just in the area of health research, but really in being really good citizens of the world. I think, that's something that we're really proud of in our program. So thank you for spending your time with us tonight. And I think we look forward to meeting many of you as our future students in the fall. So thank you. So Devin, do I need to do